needs to see various features implemented by specific dates. As I said, the consequences of missing a milestone means a kind of instalment payment is either missed or delayed, which results in people panicking and maybe not getting paid. So before milestones, many development teams go into crunch mode, which is kind of a number of weeks before the project, where you have to kind of catch up on work that's slipped during development time and fix any kind of killer bugs that could jeopardise the future of the project. Some companies are really nice and will actually pay you overtime. Companies never used to do this, but some are starting to do it now. They will actually pay you overtime when you're in crunch mode. If they don't, Valve came over and delivered a talk at Animex this year. I'd been trying to get Valve for ages. They came over this year and last year, but the year before they dropped out at the last minute because they'd just finished Half-Life 2 Episode 2 and decided to take the entire team to Hawaii for 2 weeks as kind of a reward for Half-Life 2 Episode 2. So, very nice. You do get some companies that will, in the UK they'll usually just take you to Alton Towers for the day or something, which is kind of not quite Hawaii, but it's a gesture anyway. So, if you're working for a good company, they will try and make it up to you with holidays and things afterwards, holiday time. So it sounds like Valve is kind of the company to work for with those kind of holidays. The final stages, so once the game's finished, a beta version is sent to the publishers. Publishers will look at that and then send it back with any changes they want to see implemented. So then you've got to implement all those changes, fix everything, change things the way they want it. Sometimes the changes I can ask for are ridiculous as well, because when I worked on LA Rush, it was around about the time the film Fast and the Furious came out, and then the publishers all went to see Fast and the Furious, and we sent the game off to them finished, and they're like, oh no, we've just seen Fast and the Furious now, we want this, we want that, we want Nos in the car, we want all kinds of crazy stuff. So we then kind of implemented all this stuff, and then they saw Taxi, a French film, where the guy drives a taxi, but he's kept well into his racing and stuff. So then you have to kind of implement stuff that's seen in that film. So, and usually the beta version is practically completely finished at that point, unless your publishers get very excited by new films and then request a load of extra stuff. But once it's all done, the alpha version of the game is sent to the publishers, and at that stage nothing should need changing. And if you're producing a game as well that's going to come out on the PlayStation, Sony need to approve that, okay, this game can go out on our console. And Sony can be slimed as well for being really picky with what goes out on their console. So a game can still be dropped as well once completed. I'm making this sound quite depressing, but it is actually a great industry to work in. But a game can still be dropped once completed, as actually marketing the game costs a lot more money than any other part of the process. So it might just cost a few million to make a game, but it costs millions to actually market it, to do kind of major marketing campaigns in all the different countries. So it might be worth them just kind of cutting the losses and not going ahead and marketing it. And it might just be that the publishers just quite short on funds by that time, and so they'll just hold on the game. They won't actually publish it because they can't afford to spend the money on marketing. Just trying to think of an example of that. No. Okay, so 6 months after the game makes a profit, then royalties can be paid as well. But I only know one guy in the industry that's ever received royalties, and he was working in the industry for 18 years. So if a games company tells you that you'll get royalties, just take it with a pinch of salt, and then if you do get it, brilliant. But you'd be surprised to know that the majority of computer games don't actually make a profit. They just kind of cover the costs of making it. It's only the kind of real AAA titles, like the kind of Project Gotham series. GTA does make a great profit actually, and Unreal, but the majority of titles, even kind of fairly well-known ones, never make much of a profit, which is why royalties don't often get paid. But the royalties are paid 6 months after a game makes a profit. So like the GTA guys, 6 months after, it's practically immediately it makes a profit, and 6 months after that, then the team will get nice checks for a few £1,000s each. Okay, right, before I go on with the rest, I've just got some useful links and info and reading material for you here, things that I'd suggest you take a look at, different websites, different things that it'd be worth you kind of registering with. So before we do that, are there any questions so far about anything to do with the industry or different roles or about the process? Or?
Do you know anywhere that's got available jobs for testers?
Okay. That's the thing. It's worth actually contacting them because it's just towards the end of a project that we'll start taking on testers. I do know that Midway Games we're after some people to do a little bit of focus testing. I think it only pays either. It's just going to be 2 hours, and it pays either £20 or a free Midway game. But it's kind of a bit of experience testing. So I can give you an email address for the guy at. In fact, I'll check my email after this, find out the email address, and we kind of give you guys the contact details because they're after kind of a wide range of people to do this focus testing. So yeah, that's just going to be kind of 2 hours about what you play through the game. Then I think they provide pizza and you have a chat about kind of what you liked about it and how it works. So I'll give you those details, and then if you kind of get on Midway's books as well, they might kind of get you in for kind of some proper testing work. But yeah, find out the companies in the area, and I'll show you where to find out where all the companies are. Get in touch with them and ask them to keep you informed if there are any testing positions coming up. A good way to actually get a testing role over the summer or something like that is to, as I said, write a bit of a review of the game and sort of little bugs and things you think it could be tweaked in it. It's worth kind of writing reviews like that. Okay. Any other questions before we? Yeah.
There's like different links with the media about violent games. Do you think violent games should be banned?
Do I think violent games should be banned? No, of course I don't think violent games should be banned. It's like kind of violent films as well. I mean, it was kind of the same thing about films at one point, and it's. I don't know, I think there has to be something wrong with you in the first place if you actually play a violent game and then go out and kind of reenact what was going on in it. And I don't know, I think I'd rather kids be playing games where they're stealing cars than actually out in the street stealing my car. Much prefer that. So, no, I don't think it should, but what I do think should happen is that parents should actually realise that games do have different age limits on them, and that they shouldn't be buying 18 certificate games for their 8-year-olds, which does happen. So I think parents need to be more aware of that as well. And there's a huge controversy over it as well. I know the people love jumping on computer games and blaming them for all sorts. I don't know if any of you saw that Mass Effect controversy that was going on. Where the game Mass Effect, there was a huge outcry in America, and Fox put out this thing on TV saying that you could actually have sex in the game and graphic sex, and it turned out all you saw was the kind of side of an alien's boob, wasn't it, or something like that. And so Fox actually had to go and apologise. So if you played Mass Effect,
I was just completed.
Right, it's the kind of graphic sex scenes in Mass Effect. Would you say there are these graphic scenes in there?
No, you just see a handprint in some steam.
Yeah.
That really was disappointing.
So it's just kind of the way the media jumps on it is kind of just really ridiculous. And have any of you heard of Jack Thompson?
Yeah, he knows that.
Yeah, it's like, for those of you that don't know Jack Thompson, he's this lawyer in America that any game, he just jumps on all these different titles and tries to sue games companies for making games where you can shoot people. Or, sorry?
Especially TF2.
Yeah, he just jumps on TF2 all the time. He hates a lot of people, but I think he's just trying to make money by suing as many different companies as he can.
Take-Two have just taken a lawsuit against him now, haven't they?
Have they? Great. I'd be very interested to see what the results of that are. But he's actually, I had Jason Della Rocca, who runs the Game Developers Conference in America, actually got Jack Thompson. I know invited him to speak there as a keynote this year. Haven't read anything about that to see how it went, so I'll have to look it up. It would have been very interesting to see Jack Thompson actually doing a presentation to a room full of game developers. I'd be surprised if he actually got out of there alive. But I don't think games are responsible for violence. The only thing that I think does cause a bit of harm is the Wii remote, because I have actually come across many people that have been injured with the Wii remote, just through kind of waving it around the living room.